When pain becomes identity, how thought creates division. Physical pain can only be experienced by an individual, not by a group. The kind of pain that spreads through tribal or ghetto identity is psychological. It is borrowed. It travels through belonging, through the story a group tells about itself. Something falls on your foot and you scream. This is not a group experience, it's yours. However, when in a tight community, somebody gets beaten up by an outsider, you sympathize. When hurt is felt, the whole collective contracts like a cell when it's poked. Similar interpretations bind people together and move them as one body. In this framework, pain shaped by ideology can become a credential, an entitlement. And like all entitlements, it belongs to a category, not to a person. Once it is categorized, a response to it becomes mechanistic. This is a static perception of human interrelations. It freezes relationships into permanent fact. Some see society as being divided into the oppressor and the oppressed. The oppressor is labeled as oppressor regardless of what they do as individuals. And when pain is explained entirely through skin color or gender, something is missing: psychological depth. If you were born on the wrong side, the only escape offered is a change of appearance. No inner transformation is recognized. Categories persist regardless of what actually happens. The ideology is so strong that even when we look at reality, we don't see it. Values in this framework stem from which group you belong to, not from self-knowledge, which means what looks like a moral position is a tribal signal. Two people arguing across the divide aren't examining pain. They are defending their group's account of reality. Without something deeper, it becomes a permanent war. The conflict has no natural end. This is not a judgment, it's an acknowledgement. But if we want to make life better for ourselves or in this world, we will have to go beyond identity and activism. We will have to take a good look at ourselves and discover what identity is and what it responds to. If my ancestors suffered under your ancestors' rule, that cannot be changed. It happened in the past. However, if I see the present through the filters of the past, then my relationship to you will be influenced by what happened then. Memory plays a major role in how we relate in the present. If my perception of the present is different from yours, we will be in conflict with each other. Your first impulse will be to attack me. Most often, this impulse has written history. It has never solved anything permanently. It only extended the problem into the future. Emotional impulse has enormous energy in it. It is sneaky and inventive and can destroy everything. Have you ever looked at your relationship to pain? What kind of thoughts arise when there is pain? I'm not only talking about your pain, I'm talking about pain as it is. So what happens when you hurt others or when others hurt you? What do you feel? Do you always feel the same or feel different depending on who you hurt or who hurt you? Do you feel sorry for some more than for others? Why do you keep hurting or participating in hurting people or more generally, sentient beings? So let's look at this more closely. When I look at pain through memory, then I divide pain into my pain and your pain, our pain and their pain. This division creates conflict between my pain and your pain. And in fact, division is not only conflict, it's also hierarchy, because we see one pain as more entitled than other pains. It's almost like a pain contest. It could be quite true that your group experienced more pain than others, but other groups won't be able to solve your pain. So from history, you know that you can't count on other groups. What can you do? You look at pain. Without blaming others, without the politics of it, do you see the birth of pain? If in the present things are not the way you prefer them, you feel constrained, there is no pain yet. There is only effort to end something that doesn't feel right. You want to prove yourself. You study and work. But when history interferes, what happens to memory? Besides helping you overcome difficulties in the present, it also creates conflict between you and your environment. You say, it's all because of you. Have you ever stopped and looked at pain without commenting? Have you ever stayed with it, felt it without judgment? Because if you have, you also notice that pain feeds on what you think. If this is seen, that historical narrative doesn't create pain, but reframes existing frustration, doesn't the relationship between thought and perception change? Free speech regulations, hate speech regulations, reparations, all that comes from politics. Humane ideas are no assurance. They can turn into inhumane ones and can still be seen as humane. A child throws a tantrum in a mall because his parents won't buy him a toy. Some parents lose it, the same meltdown, one generation apart. Others bribe. Here is a lollipop. Now stop. Others reason, but darling, you already have 17 toys. None of them are looking at the child. They are all managing the noise. Politics driven by divided thought cannot solve the division it comes from. Politics is a container for unexamined problems. It can only hold these problems, not solve them. The container has no leverage over the content because the content determines the container's shape and function. Politics manages the noise grown-up children make. Carrying these roles from childhood to parenthood and forward into the future, how do we heal the division so that it's not passed on through time? There is always this sense of the I that stands apart from the problem solver. Thought divides against itself when it examines the problem from the point of view of likes and dislikes. The thought that creates division and the thought that tries to solve it are mechanically the same. If the problem is not addressed directly, then it is just covered up by various methods or ideas. What's the root of all divisions? This question transcends the self-serving answers of political activism. It's much larger than what they are searching for. The seriousness of it includes all living beings on this planet, including animals and insects. Division creates a space between your self-image and the self-image of others. This is where fear, uncertainty, and pain live. This is where thought oscillates between you and others and maintains division. When pain is labeled, this is racism. This is hate speech. We want it to stop. Assuming pain comes from outside, we reach for activism, laws, and regulations. But some pain never touches the body. It only moves through emotions. The kind of pain has no external source. It is identity resisting ideas it disagrees with. One thing is resistance, a refusal to look. When you want pain to end, you turn toward solutions, away from pain. But pain ends only in awareness, when it is examined without searching for solutions. One thing is not aimed at ending pain. It is aimed at enforcing preference. Others will try to enforce their own preference. This creates conflict. The external event is just the trigger. The pain is produced from the inside, by identity pushing back against what it cannot accept. Unless thought is coherent, orderly, consistent, and harmonious, action will remain disorderly. There is action that does not trigger hostility from an already worked up crowd. You can still be attacked or hurt, but that's on them. And how does such action come about? It comes about in perception. A kind of perception that is not influenced by thought, by the past, by knowledge, by memory, by experience. Such perception can't be looked for because the looking installs a template. The template is not perception. In the search for perception, there is comparing, not perceiving. Have you ever looked at the written word without interpreting it, just seeing the shapes, shades, hues, and tone? That is perception. The same way, have you ever looked at thought or emotions without interpretation? And if there was interpretation, has it been caught by awareness? Was an intelligent distinction made by the mind between perception and interpretation? The pain that's felt after an offensive remark is in the resisting it. It's not in the remark. See it for yourself. When thought sees itself in its movement, when it sees itself while thinking, from this seeing, which is not influenced by memory, knowledge, and experience, action is no longer directed by division. It's clean. When a person is verbally abusive, what reaction follows? Is it negative emotions? Or is it just awareness of the word, meaning, sound, intonation, dialect, mood, and tone? It became a mantra already that everything is a spectrum. So then, are you aware of the full spectrum of this whole spectacle? Is there an awareness that also includes the reactions that appear in you? Are your reactions also part of the spectrum, the whole of it, or divided from it?